Hi everyone, that's Reefer here, and welcome to this latest Focus Friday video. Today I'll be covering a subject which is about coral, and the specific coral is Zoanthus, or more commonly referred to as ZOAS. Zoanthus are small polyps which are usually very colorful. They are fairly easy to keep, and they duplicate quite fast, quite quickly. So it's a pretty rewarding coral. I have quite a few in my tank, which are mainly focused around the middle part of the tank. So I'll show you some of them, and in the meantime I'll tell you something about how to care for them, what to take into account, and some more stuff as well. So as you can see right here is the main part of my tank where I have Zoanthus, which are the colonies are growing quite fast. They all have names as well, although they're they're not real scientific names. They're just names people gave them and the way they are referred to commonly. For example, right here you have the purple monsters, which are growing very fast. Then there's Lord of the Rings, God of War, Sunny D's there in the back, Rastas, and Laser Lemons here on the top. So quite a lot of fancy names for them. There's two kind of these kind of polyps that are, you can distinguish them if you take a close look, but if you're a beginner then it might be a little harder to spot the difference. These one are Zoanthus. Then there's also Polytoa, which are usually a little bit larger, and their shapes, their tentacles are also usually a bit longer, a bit more pointy, and these can also contain toxins. So beware when you buy ZOAS that they really are ZOAS, because you don't want any toxic, or at least every coral has some toxin in it, but you don't want any harmful coral in your tank. So take a close look if they are ZOAS or Polytoa. I have a video about the toxins that are in Polytoa on my channel. I'll link to it so you can take a look at that. So be cautious. These ones are in general not dangerous at all. Of course they have some naturally available toxins which almost any coral has to defend themselves, but they're not harmful to human beings usually. Well, as you can see, there are various shapes and various colors. The way they grow is they have small stems which are underneath, and they use their stems and the tissue that's at the bottom of the stem to expand over the tissue or over the substrate or over the rock, and then that tissue will grow into new polyps, as you can see right here. I'll zoom in a bit. You can see new polyps growing also here on the side, and it's somewhat a little harder to spot right here. So these corals are generally duplicating quite fast, and that's nice, of course, because then you have something to look at. You can even frag them quite easily. Use tweezers or scissors or a knife to cut off a bit of the tissue and glue it to another rock, and then you can trade them with your friends, or you can sell them or whatever. Put them in a different spot in your tank. For example, these purple monsters have grown from a frag that I've taken from here. So there are some more purple monsters right here, and and there's also some orange ones right here, which there. So these corals, these ZOAS, like to be somewhere in the middle of your tank or even at the bottom. They can appreciate some light, although not too much, so don't put them on the same level as your Acropora, for example, like this. They don't need it. They are doing fine with a little less light. I can place them even lower if I want to, but they're doing okay right here. They a little bit of flow is recommended as well. And yeah, all in all, they're not very hard corals to keep, so they're very suitable if you're a beginner, and they're very likable if you're an advanced aquarist. So in any case, they're nice to keep. They feed, generally just use the water. They fill themselves up with water and feed that way, and use the light to replicate. You can do two things to accelerate the growth or the color. That's you can add some amino acids to your tank if you want to. There are different brands. I'm using Korallenzucht. But there's also different brands with aminos. They're generally good for any coral, so not just for ZOAS, but also for SPS, for LPS. And then there's vitamin C, which is also known for being good for Zoanthus to grow. And you have to take a look, because you can use food grade vitamin C, but make sure that it's pure. And it's called, I'm not sure how to pronounce this in English, but ascorbine acid, I assume. Make sure it's pure, so vitamin C powder. And you can just mix it with a bit of water and add it to your tank, like 1 teaspoon a month, something like that, or more often if you feel like it, but don't overdo it. And all in all, if you add a bit of those, or you don't even have to, but if you want to, then you can enjoy these beautiful small flowers in your tank, which will really give your tank a nice colorful look if you buy the right ones, if you find the right ones. And yeah. Oh, there's one more thing. There's 2 natural enemies of Zoanthus, which are these small, I think they're called asterin starfish. Let's see if I can find one in the tank right now. I'm not sure if asterin is here the right word. They're really small starfish, which can eat the ZOAS. They will generally place themselves on the head of the Zoanthus and then consume it. Oh, there's one right here. So you know what I'm talking about, these ones. So these are natural enemies of your Zoanthus. They won't eat them. Not everyone eats ZOAS, but most of them do. So when you see them near your ZOAS, just remove them whenever you get the chance. And there's also ZOA eating spiders, which are a lot less fun. These are actually, if you don't have them, then make sure you dip each frag that you buy, because if they're there in your tank, then you will not have a good time. Zoanthus eating spiders are very bad. They eat the polyps from within. They nest themselves within, and they're very hard to get rid of. I had them in my previous tank, and it took me over a year to get rid of them. So pretty serious animals. So in the last minute, I'll give you an underwater view of these ZOAS, just as a bonus. I think that's the best way to look at them, because they are such beautiful coral, and the top view gives you the best color experience, as you can see right here. So there's a ton of colors. I've seen every combination possible. 1 color, 2 color, 3 colors in one little flower. The more colors in one flower or in one head, or in one polyp, usually the more expensive they get, or the stranger the pattern. So for example, Rasta, which is the green one with orange and yellow, is somewhat more expensive. So that's it for this week. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you. Bye bye.